Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Open Up, this live talk show on Sunday, June 12th. I am RJ Horner. I am the host and facilitator here at for Open Up and also a volunteer at Voice of Men 360. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, for wherever you join us from in the world. Welcome to Open Up, our live talk show. Voice of Men 360 is a not for profit organization founded in 2020 and based in Toronto, Canada. We were born out of seeing a tremendous need and helping to step up to help our men and boys overcome the life challenges they have to face. We're part of International Men's Day, and International Men's Day has been serving for over 21 years so far, is now represented in 90 countries around the world who join together to do various activities. International Men's Day follows six pillars, which represent the overall well-being of men and boys, and we follow in those same footsteps. So why open up? Because men are not willing to open up our hearts. We're not willing to share our matters with anyone. And when we keep these within ourselves, they create undue emotional challenges at some point, which can explode in an unhealthy manner. And we want to help change this. That's why we created an open space to allow individuals to share their life journey through our platform. We aim to create awareness about the life struggles and the overcome and the challenges that our men and boys have to go through in their lives. There are no limitations with gender, age, nationality, or ethnic groups. All walks of life are invited to participate. Our goal is to make a positive impact on someone's life through this programs. Open Up, which is on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We bring out individuals to share their journey with you in the effort of empowering you and enriching your experience. So today, my guest is Rob Cole. Rob is the co-founder, owner, and executive director and minister at FPG Plant and Animal Sanctuary. He's also the founder for the Fellowship for Perpetual Growth, an associate at Male Survivors of Sexual Abuse. He's also a founder of that group on Facebook. He's the coordinator of International Men's Day Hawaii and a World Day of the Boy Child. He's joining us today from Hawaii. So, Rob Cole, welcome to Open Up. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful. And thank you for, again, being open enough to carry on a discussion, which I think is going to be very interesting today, something that people may or may not want to hear about. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. First of all, tell us about your journey as early as you can. Tell us about what makes the man we know as Rob Cole.
Okay. I was born in England and moved to the United States with my family when I was 5 years old. Moved back to England for a year and then to the United States again. We were in the New York tri-state area, so Connecticut, Brooklyn, New York, and New Jersey. And then after graduating from college, moved to California and started working with a couple of law firms doing IT work for them. And did a lot of great advancements in technology with those law firms. And eventually I left and continued a sideline business I had of internet marketing to help nonprofits and small businesses become better businesses.
Okay, so you build businesses, is what it sounds like.
Yes, and train nonprofits on how to become better run organizations.
Okay, very good.
Then I moved to Hawaii in 2017 and set up a Fellowship for Perpetual Growth. It was originally slated to be a permaculture nonprofit teaching the people of Hawaii to become food independent. Hawaii is isolated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so we're at the we've got we rely on the shipping industry to bring us all the supplies, including our food. So by becoming more food independent, we can weather the tide of shipping disruptions to the island.
So, what made you create this initiative for food independent, or what? Why the passion for that?
Well, I would vacation in Hawaii several times a year, and got to know the people here. Heard about the Jones Act, which requires um, ships delivering supplies to Hawaii to uh, be, um, be delivered by ships built in the US, and so that has increased the price of goods and supplies in Hawaii and makes it a really expensive place to live here. And it doesn't need to be that way.
Got
So,
you. And then so, go ahead.
I took a permaculture certification course with Jeff Lawton, and understanding the premises of permaculture uh, is a great way for people with not a lot of land to maximize the food production on just a very small area of land.
Got you. And so far, how's this initiative gone? How much work have you achieved so far?
Well, we've been here for 5 years, and so we have started a food forest and making some kitchen gardens. And in 2018, there was a lava flow on the Big Island of Hawaii. That's where we're situated, and we have a 20-acre sanctuary. And what happened was, with the animal rescue efforts, what uh, what what people needed were to rescue these animals. A lot of people can rescue dogs and cats and foster them in their homes, but very few people can take in donkeys and cows, pigs, sheep, goats. So we cobbled together fences and shelters for these animals and took in as many as we could. And so we shifted our focus from being a permaculture nonprofit to becoming more of an animal sanctuary.
And so that was just by nature, just by circumstance, basically that happened, right? And
Yes, yeah. Pele directed us from being food based to more of an animal sanctuary.
and so, what do you do with this animal sanctuary?
Well, right now we tend these animals, and over the years I've found animal therapy to be of great benefit to me. Um, I've had a number of assaults in my life, uh, from the age of 8 to just 2 months ago, and the animals have helped me recover from a lot of the physical and mental stresses of the assaults.
We'll get into what you've been through, if you don't mind, shortly. But tell us what does the animals do? How do they help relieve your situation?
Well, the animals can sense when you're agitated. So what they have taught me is to release that negative energy before approaching them. So I use breathing techniques. I calm my body down and become in a relaxed, positive state, so I can interact with the animals.
And that's awesome, actually, because I mean, it teaches you mindfulness, right? You have to be aware of how you're behaving around these animals, so it makes you more in tune to your self awareness, I guess.
Yes, yeah. It's one of the self care techniques is breathing, controlled breathing. And another self care activity is interacting with the animals, hugging the animals, petting the animals, tending to their needs, making sure that they're well. So inspecting them and taking care of others is a great way for you to take care of yourself.
Hmm. And so, do you offer this service to others, or is this just something that's your purview to?
Yes, actually, this Saturday we're having on the third Saturday of every month we have a work day here at the sanctuary. and we alternate between animal-related projects and plant-related projects. Well, this Saturday, it's the 10th anniversary of my late fiance's passing, and so to commemorate that, we're going to be doing a cuddle session with the animals. So this is going to be a family-friendly event where people can come and spend time taking care of the animals.
Thank you. That was wonderful. You know what? It's a great experience for people out there to get involved in. I've been to a horse sanctuary one time with much the same premise. So I can understand the feeling that you get from just interacting with these animals. It just gives you a sense of A, calm, and B, the joy of being part of this animal's existence is really special. So I understand that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes, it is, and the animals love the attention. So we don't have it set up with a petting zoo, which can be more of a frenetic environment where the animals are coming up to people looking for food. This is just a calm experience where people can brush the donkeys or pet the cows, um, touch the pigs, and the sheep. I have a sheep who absolutely loves attention, and he comes up looking for people's attention.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So, have you always been the type of person who wants to give back or serve people?
Yeah, yeah. I tend to be a giver, helper. Um, I was in the Boy Scouts. I was awarded the Eagle Scout Award, and throughout the Boy Scouts, we're always looking to give, help out, whether it's if we have an outing with the troop, we get the outing to organized with the people, the location, the supplies, and so just always looking to help each other get a project done. It's helping other people with their Eagle Scout project or helping with the community. Um, that just feeds the need to help others.
Wonderful. So, I mean, and you've certainly carried that on throughout your career at this point. So let's delve into your story a little bit. I know you're going to tell people some things that maybe they don't want to hear, but these things do happen. So you've been through some assaults, like you mentioned. Go back as early as you're willing to talk about it, and tell us what's happened to you.
Okay. When I was 8 years old, I was with my mother and sister in Brooklyn, New York, Prospect Park, and a kid walked up along with us, jumped out in front, and pulled out a knife and demanded my mother's pocketbook. And so she stalled. He told my sister and me to get up to the side by the tennis courts, and thankfully, another kid on a bike came up, saw what was going on, chased the kid away, and escorted us back to our apartment. Um, and that was the first mugging incident. There are a number of others in San Francisco, um, where people come up and assault me or mug me, pull guns or knives on me, and other things. So I just needed to get away from that environment, that urban environment, um, and made it here to Hawaii, thinking that it would be peaceful here. But one of the volunteers I had helping at the sanctuary started doing drugs, so I kicked him out. 3 weeks later, he came back and invaded my home, held me hostage, and physically, sexually assaulted me over the course of the next 8 hours. He made off in the morning with my Polaris Ranger UTV with over $30,000 of sanctuary tools and equipment, my personal clothes and food and other items.
That's
Uh,
very traumatizing. There's no doubt. did that change your attitude about helping people?
Yes, it did. I still wanted to help people, um, but I questioned my ability to read people. There had to be some reason why this was all happening. Um, I tried to get the support of the legal system and the medical system. They failed me, and so it's been a long 3+ year journey to try and figure out what's going on, how I can stop this from happening. Um, been to a lot of doctors, a lot of specialists. Um, they've diagnosed me with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, which might explain me not being able to read people too well. And they have uh, diagnosed me with PTSD and CPTSD from these events.
What is CPTSD? What is that?
That's complex PTSD. So
Oh, okay.
that happens with it normally happens with children in an abusive upbringing, or partners or spouses in an abusive um, environment where there is regular abuse, but it also applies to me with the regular assaults going to and from work in San Francisco, and the PTSD from the each assault is equivalent to being in a war zone.
Yeah, no doubt. There's definitely trauma there that needs to be looked at, to be understood, and maybe there's still work I'm sure you have to do to overcome all this. Um, One of the things I love that you do is you don't give up. You keep finding new ways to support, to help people. So now you're an advocate, so to speak, for or against, let's call it against, male sexual abuse.
Yes. I went on Facebook looking for a group, male survivors of sexual assault. I didn't find one. So with a friend of mine who helps people with PTSD, CPTSD, and she runs a number of groups on Facebook. She helped me set up this group. It's just for male survivors, and then once it was set up, then she left the group just to preserve the sanctity of the group. This is just for the survivors. It isn't for any of their caregivers, supporters, or family members. Just a space where people can share what has happened to them if they choose, or any methods people have found in coming to terms with what has happened with them.
So you say you didn't find any groups. Not that we're looking for hearsay. This is not a court of law or anything, but why do you think that is? Why do you think there isn't a lack or more awareness about this issue and more support?
I think, well, sexual assault on with females, males, any of the sexes is a traumatic experience. It plays on your vulnerability, your sense of self, and uh, your ability to protect yourself. When women come forward to let people know that they've been sexually assaulted, there's a lot of victim blaming that goes on. People blame the clothes that they wore. What were you doing? Why were you in that location? Why did you go with that man? And so they put the victim on the spot, and that's just not what they need. What they need is a sympathetic ear and people to help guide them through this process, uh, seeking medical attention, seeking mental health support, seeking the support of their friends and family. it puts them in a very vulnerable position. And at this point, what we need is the trust of the people around us to help us get through this. And it's very difficult for women to do. For men, it's the same situation, but there's this added social pressure that men are supposed to be tough, men are supposed to be strong, men are just are supposed to have all this power to prevent this from happening. And if it does, then it's a sign of additional weakness and emasculation. And so there's an additional shame on top of that. So often the sexual assault of men is even more so less reported than it is with women. So they're throwing numbers about either 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 men have been sexually assaulted.
And that's a number they'll probably truly never know, right? Because if
Correct.
men have been sexual assaulted, or even as young boys, because it does happen. It's happened to me as well, as a young boy, at least attempted sexual assault. Thankfully, I was aware enough to try and, you know, alleviate the situation. So I've never truly been sexually assaulted, um, but it does happen to people at every age. And then there's that, you know, well, I don't need to talk about this. People don't need to hear what my life has been about. First of all, nobody can help me with it at this point, anyways. So what's the point of having that discussion? So we tend to bottle it up, we lock it away, and of course that's what we're trying to battle here is, you know, these emotions that we're, or thoughts that we're locking away, eventually cause, you know, strain and medical hardship and mental health issues. So we're trying to alleviate that here. So I thank you for coming forward with this discussion today, because um, there's so many things in here that men themselves need to hear, because I'm sure there are people out there with similar stories like yours who are just afraid to say anything or don't know who to turn to. So you have a group that they can turn to and you know, start to talk about their traumas that they've been through.
Yes, and allow them a space to open up if they choose to, or they can just stay in the background and see the posts that I send out or other people send out. Yeah, we don't um, force people to participate or uh, reveal what has happened to them if they're not ready or willing to do so. It's a very personal thing that has happened to people.
Hmm. For sure. And then, I mean, I don't know if you know the other side of it, but, you know, like you say, we want support from siblings and family members and the people who matter to us when we go through these traumas. Um, but at the same time, maybe they don't, um, maybe they believe it happened. Maybe on some level they believe it happened, but they don't know. But they also don't know what we need or how to support us in that matter. You know what I mean? So, um, is there anything that could be done there to help bridge that gap?
Uh, yes, better communication can help with that. Uh, if um, if the support group, if family and friends are more willing to communicate and establish good communication hygiene, then it allows for a space for people to be able to trust each other with this information. If you haven't established that kind of deep bond with people and truly know that this person can be trusted with this information, that you won't be judged, um, that you will truly be supported and helped and guided. That's what is essential. So it's we need people willing to dig down and say what has happened to them, reveal their wants and needs, and to have those wants and needs listened to and understood enough to get the people the help that they need at that time.
Very good. Thank you for that. That's again, um, this is an issue that I'm sure is going to continue to be prevalent and to cause men undue issues. So thank you for opening up about your journey and being willing to share that with people. I do have a couple more questions for you, but is there anything else I haven't asked you that you want people to know?
Um, no, thank you.
Wonderful. No, that's great. You were very upfront and forthcoming with your story, so I thank you for that very much. I'm just going to do a couple announcements, and then I do have a couple of questions for you before we end our show.
Okay.
So, we have several live shows here in Voice of Men 360. The first of which you just participated in is called Open Up, where we share personal life journeys on our live talk show Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for our guest, Rob Cole, today, who's told us a tremendous story that I hope has value for men out there. We also have Vili, which means I in Tamil. This is a Tamil language live talk show, Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We host a monthly webinar the first Saturday of every month, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we bring out the expertise of organizations to discuss a topic of interest to them, but also of interest to our community as well. We have a special show we call the Unspoken Tears. That takes place the second Saturday of every month, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where the topic is much what you've gotten here today: domestic violence against men, bullying, male sexual abuse, trauma, porn addiction, human trafficking, and more. These things do exist, and we discuss them here in Voice of Men 360. We also invite people out to join our authors circle. We want to bring individuals who've been contributing to the well-being of men and boys through writing, articles, meeting, media, and recognizing them and appreciating their efforts. This takes place the third Saturday of every month from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we turn all of our content into podcast episodes. So you can find us on all of your favorite platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Switcher, and more. And then we host a monthly men's group meeting. This one is for men only. It really is a peer to peer men's support group, which takes place every 2 weeks, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. through Zoom. Join us for this next one this Tuesday, June 14th. Again, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The link is available on our Facebook page and group, so join us for that. We have another peer-to-peer support group we call Pass the Talking Stick. This one is for Indigenous members of to join and be a part of their own peer group. This takes place the fourth Friday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. through Zoom. And again, there are no limitations with gender, age, nationality, or ethnic groups. All walks of life are invited to participate in any of our shows. If you want to be a guest or on any of our shows, or willing to be a part of our organization and help us indirectly or directly, please reach out to us. We'd love to work with individuals, professionals, community organizations, experts, associations, corporations, government officials, businesses, and more. You can reach us at 437 889 8329. You can email info at voiceofmen360.org, which makes our website www.voiceofmen360.org. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. We also have a Facebook group and page, facebook.com/groups/voiceofmen360, to become involved in our community. And don't forget, we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and don't forget to like and subscribe for our YouTube channel. So thank you for that. And Rob, we'll get back to you as we finish up our show. So there's a couple questions I like to ask, but I'm going to gear them towards much what we've discussed today. Um, it looks like I have to ask you another question. We want to talk about World Day of the Boy Child. Tell us about a little bit more about your support in that manner.
Okay. World Day of the Boy Child. We're helping to raise boys to come into manhood and be respectful of themselves, be respectful of their family, and of their community, and that will help to train future generations to be much more willing and open to talk about themselves and be accepting of others in the community.
Wonderful. And then, so you're also part of or are responsible for, if I'm not mistaken, International Men's Day Hawaii. Tell us a little bit more about your involvement with that.
Yes, we're International Men's Day occurs in November, and so we are rallying support in Hawaii to represent International Men's Day in Hawaii and talk about men's issues in Hawaii. There is just a lot of um, gender roles placed on men in Hawaii, and again, that makes it tougher for men to express themselves. So we want to create a place for men to uh, reach out to each other and just release all those responsibilities of being a man in Hawaii, being tough hunter, uh, and and just have a tough exterior in Hawaii, based on just the history of the people coming to Hawaii, populating Hawaii, and how the Western civilization has integrated itself into the Hawaiian Islands. So we want to create a space for all people, all men in Hawaii, to communicate with each other more effectively and create this place as a better functioning community.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting us know about the great work you're doing. You've been a tremendous guest so far. So the next questions I ask, first of all, how can our men and boys empower their lives? But let's relate that to what you've been through and how we can help the men who've been through this. So, how can our men and boys who have been in this sort of situation, what actions can they take to alleviate maybe their feelings, their emotions, or their inability to cope?
They need to find somebody that they can trust, and this takes a lot of practice to be able to trust someone with this type of information. So you just need to be careful about relaying this information to others, because if we have not established that foundation of trust, it becomes that much more difficult to relay this more sensitive information to people. It puts you in a very vulnerable spot, and that's the worst time to figure out the people in your ohana who can be there and support you, um, because not everybody is supportive.
Mhm. Absolutely, that's true. That is absolutely true. Not everybody is supportive of the issue, and there are even people who don't want to acknowledge that it exists. Right? It doesn't happen. Men don't have this problem. So to get past that has to be a big issue for those people who need to take that step. So thank you for that advice. Thank you for being aware and making them aware of the issue. Um, that look, we need somebody to talk to. We have to have somebody to talk to, and if it can't be a confidant, you know what I mean, a family, a friend member, then you may need to seek a counselor, somebody who's going to be impartial and hear you out and help you through that journey. So thank you.
Yes.
Then another question I ask is, how can we as a society empower them on their journey?
We have to create systems in place to help people who have been through traumas. I remember going to my doctor with this incident 3 years ago with the TBI, and he said, "You're going to have to tell me um, which doctors you want to see because every head injury is different." And that left me more isolated and alone. Not only did I have cognitive deficiency, but I also did not know enough about medical specialties to even know what to ask for. So that makes things really tough. So we need to set up a system to help guide people through the recovery process. We need a medical ombudsman who can come in and say, okay, you've been assaulted. The first step is to try these places to get help. You also need a better legal support system, um, uh, because an injustice has happened, and we're trying to seek justice. And if the legal system is either too inept or too corrupt, then the victim again is not going to get the support and justice met that they seek, which is helpful in the healing process to get over this incident.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you know what? I know, you know what, this should be for men and women as well. Like that there should be a process in place that this is the process. But at the same time, I think we also need to make sure there's something geared to the gender as well. So that, you know what, there's specific people you'll talk to or specific conversations you'll have based on the fact that this is your gender and this is what you have to overcome or, you know, alleviate. So thank you for that. So then, Rob, you've been an amazing guest. This has been a powerful story. Again, I hope people get tremendous value of it. How can people connect with you and maybe have a conversation with you if that's what might help?
Okay, if boys or men have been sexually assaulted, they can go to Facebook and look up male survivors of sexual assault, and then they'll find the group. They can reach out to me, join the group, and connect with me that way.
And are you the only one in the group, or is there another? You know, there's a larger selection of males who have been through this who may be able to help.
Oh yeah, we have a membership above 60, so there is a good amount of support.
And that shows our men out there that there definitely is something happening in this area of life, that this does exist. And you know what, there are men out there who are trying to find their way through it. They're trying to find some satisfactory resolve, and these people are here to help you. So please reach out and connect at male survivors of sexual assault. So thank you, Rob, for everything you've brought to us today. You've been a tremendous guest.
Thank you for having me on.
Wonderful. And so thank you everybody for joining us today, this Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time on our live talk show. And this is your host, RJ Horner, asking you to open up.